So this is the step of the current legendary that very much resembles the rogue quest where you have to infiltrate a space. It is far simpler than the rogue quest. However, it does share the fact that once you screw up, you get ported back to the very beginning. A lot of people have had trouble with it, and granted, I didn't bother to look today to see if there was another one, but I decided that I would make a video of me doing it right to be able to explain it. The first couple are really easy, and I hope you'll forgive me not bothering to explain them. So these guys, you need to look out for them. There's the one that's patrolling, the one that's standing, and the one that's set back from the road. Hit the guy that's set back first. Watch the patrol. There is another patrol over here. So depending on where they are when you arrive at the doorway, depends on which one you hit. Hit the one that is least likely to aggro anything else, and wait. The vast majority of this is a waiting game. Now I'm going to wait for that one to patrol away so that I can hit the stationary one. And right after I stress the fact that it's a waiting game, I immediately start worrying that I'm going to facepull something, because I have admittedly not been the most patient with this particular quest either. Alright, so the patrol is going to come back down when it gets sufficiently far away from the one at the base of the hill here that you may or may not have seen if this is your first time through. I'm not going to chance hitting that right now because the patrol at the top of the hill will aggro with it. The other thing that I found helpful was to throw marks on key patrols so that I can keep track of them a little bit more readily. Going to wait for Skull to get further away from Square here, because Skull has an interesting patrol. So we're going to hit Square real quick before X comes back into range. Skull will continue patrolling off momentarily. The upside downside of doing this is that each time you hit something, everything pauses. So if you have patrols that you're waiting on, you have to wait longer. And then you end up with things like this where Orange and Skull are a little bit close together. And now I have to wait for Skull to get away from X. And if I'm really quick and the cooldown is fast enough, I can simply take out both of these guys at once. So that was a little bit dicier than it should have been, because I honestly didn't think that Skull was in range of the guy in back. As often as not, I've completely ignored that guy when I've done this previously. So take out Orange. And this guy here, currently Skull, looks like he's going to aggro the whole pit, but we're lucky and he doesn't. The aggro radius on these guys does not seem to be a consistent thing. Alright, so I'm going to wait for the guy over here that was by the flag to patrol away before I take out this guy, because again, dicey radius. And what the quest doesn't necessarily make clear is that your first goal is over here. You cannot go up the hill first. Well, I shouldn't say can't. I don't know 100% for certain. But given the fact that going up the hill is what triggers the cinematic and everything, I'm going to assume that you can't do it backwards. So we're going to wait for this guy to come back, and this guy... Oh, no, it's... yeah. Admittedly, I don't have everything exactly memorized, as evidenced by the fact that I just totally identified a non-patrol. Because the guy by the door there doesn't actually patrol. It's the guy on the other side of the door you have to be wary of. I'm going to take this guy out because it's accessible right now. Because you have this guy and this guy to worry about. So this one's going to come down a little ways. But we're not going to stab him yet because he's going to patrol up the hill into an inconvenient place. While that guy is over at the siege machine, take out the guy in the door. Check by the siege because there is a small albino stone orc. I don't really know, but one that's not red or brown. So take out this guy real quick. Can also take that guy out if it'll make you feel better, but be careful because there are several patrols in here, some of whom do make their way partway around that siege. So now we're going to sneak down in here, where you will run into one last mob standing by the papers you need, of course. Take him out no problem. As you can see, there's nothing left on my minimap. Grab the plans.
Jackpot. Iron Horde plans and papers. Gromash ordered a full retreat behind the walls of Tanan. Interesting. The Bleeding Hollow clan are showing signs of insubordination. Perhaps the Iron Horde is falling apart.
I must admit that I find a Draenei Paladin in stealth to be a fair bit comical. Alright, so the thing with the one that's patrolling up the hill now is to be careful of the one that's now patrolling down the hill. This is the number one place that I've ended up screwing it up when I'm in spitting distance of the objective. You want to also be careful of this guy, who we're going to take out right now. Oh, that's interesting. Repops are not something I've run into before. Okay, so take out the flag bearer. Take out the last guy before the box. And then we're going to be creeping up.
Not want to see you. He doesn't have a choice. Come, Warlock. Show us what you've got.
So we're going to creep up to this box up here, which is going to trigger a cutscene. If you do not wish the spoilers of the cutscene, I advise you cut out now. However, this has been a one-shot of how to get Garona through the Blade Fury's command area. Hope it helped.